November 12, 2017, 12:54 ms. November 12, 2017, 12:54 ms. American football, English, NFL, NCAA Division I FBS, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Iowa football, Iowa State, LSU, Miami, Florida Hurricanes, Mississippi State, North Carolina State Wolfpack, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, TCU, Wisconsin football. While Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield shined, running backs such as Notre Dame's Josh Allen and Georgia's Nick Chubb struggled. Each week during this year's college football regular season we will highlight some of the top draft-eligible performers from around the country. While Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield shined, running backs like Notre Dame's Josh Allen and Georgia's Nick Chubb struggled on Saturday, with several marquee matchups. NFL teams had numerous scouts in the field to watch the top prospects face elite competition. Against the nation's sixth-ranked defense, Mayfield had his way while leading Oklahoma to a 3,820 victory over TCU. Mayfield was 18 of 27 for 333 yards and 3 touchdowns and has all but locked up the Heisman Trophy. Next for the 6'1", 220-pound senior, who has 31 touchdown passes to only 5 interceptions, will be next year's NFL Draft. While he may not be 65, the success of NFL quarterbacks like Drew Brees and Russell Wilson should make NFL teams realize height isn't everything, especially when it comes to an aggressive competitor and efficient passer like Mayfield. Rodney Anderson has 4 touchdowns in the first half for @football. Pic.twitter.com/6H4 Gauges Big 12 Conference at Big 12 Conference November 12, 2017 As for Adams and Chubb, two of the nation's top running backs, they had a tough go of it. Adams was held to 40 yards on 16 carries in the 418 loss to Miami, which remained unbeaten thanks to a suffocating defense led by junior defensive back Jaquan Johnson, junior defensive lineman R.J. McIntosh and senior defensive end Trent Harris. On a day when Chubb passed Bo Jackson for 4th on the SEC's all-time rushing list, he was limited to 27 yards on 11 carries in a 2017 loss to Auburn as the top-ranked Bulldogs were upset in a big way. Here are some of Saturday's top NFL draft-eligible players. Marcel Aitman, WR, Oklahoma State. The 6'4", 220-pound senior has ideal size for the NFL and caught 4 passes for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns in Saturday's win at Iowa State. He understands how to use his height to his advantage. Marcel Aitman winning another end-zone jump ball, second TD today. Pic.twitter.com/88768zo, Jared Stanger at JaredStanger November 11, 2017 Bo Benchawel, Og, Wisconsin. Benchawel, a 6'6", 317-pound redshirt junior, was a big reason the Badgers were able to run for 247 yards in the 3,814 win over Iowa. Benchawel is a 3-year starter and should continue Wisconsin's strong tradition of sending offensive linemen to the NFL. He and freshman center Tyler Biadasz paved the way for Kendrick Pryor's end-around 25-yard touchdown. When you think at Badger football, you think end-around WR runs, right? Hey, whatever works. Person shrugging. Pic.twitter.com via 5D Pike at Big Ten Network at Big Ten Network November 11, 2017 Bradley Chubb, North Carolina State. Chubb was a one-man wrecking crew in NC State's 17-14 win at Boston College. The 6'4", 275-pound senior had 8 tackles with 12 sacks and a forced fumble. He continues to assert himself as the top defensive draft prospect. Sam Darnold, QB, USC. Darnold may return to college, but the 6'4", 220-pound redshirt sophomore had himself a day. Darnold threw for 329 yards and 2 touchdowns on 21 of 34 passing. He also ran for 31 yards and a score in USC's 3,824 win over Colorado. T.J. Edwards, Pound, Wisconsin. The 6'1", 244-pound redshirt junior had another impressive outing for the Badgers defense. Edwards had 5 tackles and a pass breakup. To go with an athletic interception, his 4th of the season. This game may have reached a tipping point with this at Badger football and, well, see ourselves out. Scissorpic.twitter.com/Zochin1I, Big Ten Network at Big Ten Network November 11, 2017 Deshaun Elliott, S, Texas. Not only did Elliott begin Saturday as the nation's leader with 6 interceptions, the Texas junior has ideal size at 6'2", 210 pounds. He didn't have an interception during Saturday's 4,227 win over Kansas, but did have 7 tackles and a forced fumble with a pass defensed. Darius Juice, RB, LSU. Juice ran for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns on 21 carries as LSU rolled to a 3,310 win over Arkansas. The 511, 212-pound junior is on the cusp of eclipsing 1,000 yards for the second straight year and will likely follow former LSU running back Leonard Fournette to the NFL next spring. Josh Jackson, CB, Iowa. Jackson might be the top cornerback in the draft and is the frontrunner for the Jim Thorpe Award. The 61, 192-pound junior was the only reason the Hawkeyes scored in the blowout loss in Madison. Jackson had a pair of pick sixes to account for both of Iowa's touchdowns and added a forced fumble. He now has a nation-leading 7 interceptions, 5 of which have come in the last 2 weeks. Last week it took 1 play. Today it took a whole 134 pick six. The Hawkeye football defense must be slipping. Winking face Josh Jackson right arrow housepick.twitter.com ij83p Big Ten Network at Big Ten Network November 11, 2017 Lamar Jackson, QB, Louisville. Jackson may not be in the Heisman discussion this year, but he probably should be. Jackson was 15 of 26 through the air for 195 yards and 3 touchdowns and ran for 147 yards and a score in Louisville's 3,821 win over Virginia. Jackson is not just a great athlete but has shown great touch on his passes and an ability to play quarterback at the next level. Last year's Heisman winner is the first quarterback in NCAA history with at least 3,000 passing and 1,000 rushing yards in consecutive seasons. Kerryon Johnson, RB, Auburn. Not only did the 6-foot 212-pound junior run for 167 yards on 32 carries, he caught 2 passes for 66 yards and a touchdown in Auburn's 4017 rout of number 1 Georgia. Johnson now has over 1,000 rushing yards on the season and did a lot Saturday to boost his draft stock. Allen Lazard, WR, Iowa State. The Lazard did his part to keep the Cyclones in it against Oklahoma State. The 65, 222-pound senior caught 9 passes for 126 yards and 2 scores in the 4,942 loss. It was the third 100-yard game of the season for Lazard. Calvin Ridley, WR, Alabama. The 61, 190-pound senior caught 5 passes for 171 yards, including a 31-yard reception on Alabama's final drive to set up the game-winning 26-yard touchdown pass from sophomore quarterback Jalen Hurts to freshman receiver Devonta Smith for the 3,124 win. Ridley continues to be one of the best big play receivers in the country. Mason Rudolph, QB, Oklahoma State. Rudolph was nearly perfect in Saturday's shootout win at Iowa State. The 65, 230-pound senior was 25 of 31 for 376 yards and 3 touchdowns in Oklahoma State's 4,942 victory. All of Sagapolu, DT, Wisconsin. The massive 62, 346-pound Samoan had a great all-around game against Iowa. Sagapolu helped the Badgers hold Iowa to 25 rushing yards and added a sack that was nearly a safety late in the first half of Wisconsin's 3,814 win.